And now we welcome a man who is an ICT officer, a teacher, a poet, a blogger, a tech enthusiast, and, and now a storyteller.
Hi, Anansi
Jervis Dabreo.
Thank you, Sandra. Now, a long time ago, long before Spider-Man and Wonder Woman, before Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, and even SpongeBob SquarePants, before the internet and smart devices and all of social media, back when the world was young in a country far from Grenada, on the African continent, there lived the greatest trickster ever known to man. Some say even Loki, the god of mischief, was not as clever as Anansi was. Anansi was cunning, he was determined, brilliant, ambitious, relentless. He was witty. He was a leader and a survivor. But Anansi had no stories. Back then, though known in the villages and towns close to where he lived, Anansi was not famous. He was not known world over. There were no stories in his name. As a matter of fact, there were no stories in the world. The sky god Nyame had them all, and Anansi did not like that. Anansi wanted the stories, and he was determined to get them. And so one day, Anansi went to Nyame and asked if he could buy them from him. Nyame did not want to give up his stories, even though Anansi insisted that he could afford to pay for them. Unconvinced, Nyame then told Anansi that many great kingdoms had tried to buy the stories from him, but they could not afford them. He then pondered how Anansi, completely insignificant in comparison, could succeed where they had failed. But Anansi was determined to get the story, and he promised he could afford them. And so he asked Nyame for a price. Nyame thought, you know what? He's going to fail anyway. So why not give him 3 impossible tasks? And so the price was given. Anansi had to capture 3 of the most dangerous creatures in the world, namely Onini, the python, the Momboro hornets, and Osibo, the leopard. Anansi was not too happy about the task, but he wanted those stories and was determined to bring the sky god those 3 things. And so Anansi set about putting his schemes into motion. Now, some say it was Aso, that is Anansi's wife, who gave him the plans to complete the 3 tasks. Of course, Anansi swears this is not true. He claims that he was clever enough on his own and did not need anybody help. There was even a rumor that went around for a little time claiming that Mosquito had overheard Aso telling Anansi what to do and how to complete the task. But the truth is, no one has seen Mosquito since. And if you were to ask Anansi about Mosquito, he always answers, me ain't no police. I don't know about his whereabouts. Anyway, back to Anansi and his task. Anansi knew Onini loved praises. That's the snake. Onini was always talking about how long he was and how strong he was. Pish posh. Anansi thought, we'll see how smart you are. So Anansi cut a long bamboo and set off to Onini's house close to the river. Now, while he was still a little way off, he started arguing with himself. I wonder if he's long enough. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's not as long as he thinks he is. Anyhow you put it, Onini heard the commotion and came out, wanting to know what was going on. So Anansi explained to him, well, there was a little discussion in the village, and some people are saying you're not as long as you claim to be. I want to know whether or not that is true or untrue. So I have brought a bamboo with me, and I want to measure you. Of course, the snake, being all puffed up and all proud of his length, said, yes, you can go ahead and measure me. So Anansi laid down the bamboo and told Onini to stretch out alongside it. Of course, Onini stretched out, and then Anansi was like, but wait, when I go to the top, it appears as though you're moving your tail, so I'm not sure you're actually as long. Here is an idea. If I tie the tail, then I know you're not moving it, and then I could check the head and make sure you're not moving it. Of course, Snake did not see the trick, so he went along with it. Anansi tied up Snake's head, then he tied up Snake's tail, and just like that, Snake was trapped. Anansi then lost no time in carrying Onini off to Nyame, the sky god, mocking the Phaeton along the way as he informed Onini of his bargain with the sky god. Triumphant, Anansi soon arrived and presented the sky god with his first accomplishment. The sky god was not too happy, but there were two other tasks. And so he bade Anansi farewell, and off Anansi went to see if he could capture the Momboro hornets. This time, he took a bowlie and he cut a hole in it. He then filled it with water, and off he went to see the hornets. As he got close to where the hornets were, he cut a leaf from a banana tree. His plan needed that. Soon, Anansi noticed a swarm of hornets loitering close to a nest. He crept close to them. Anansi then sprinkled some of the water on the Momboro hornets, careful to save some for himself. He then drenched himself with the remaining water. Quickly, he took the banana leaf, covered his head with it. Soon, the hornets flew out in a fit. But Anansi showed them the banana leaf still wet and explained that it had been raining. Clever Anansi then warned the hornets that the rain was dangerous, suggesting that they could enter his bowlie and live or stay outside and die. The hornets agreed and thanked Anansi for helping them. Unaware of his scheme, they all flew inside. Once all of them had entered, Anansi quickly covered the hole he had made in the bowlie, trapping the hornets inside. And off he went to see the sky god. Now, there was just one task left. He had to capture Osibo, the leopard. Now, the leopard had sworn sometime back that the next time he saw Anansi, he was going to destroy him, because Anansi played a trick on the leopard sometime back and he was not too happy about it. Anyway, Anansi went to the place where Osibo normally could be found. He dug a deep pit in the ground and he covered it, making it just as if nothing wasn't done. Careful so everything looked normal. The trap was set. Osibo came home in the dark, not suspecting anything, walked right into the trap, fell in the pit, and there he was. Of course, Anansi had gone home for the night. In the morning, Anansi returned, and there was the leopard. There was Osibo, trapped in the pit. Anansi pretended to care and even asked the leopard how he ended up in there. So, you've been drinking again, haven't you? The leopard was, no, I have not been drinking. Well, said Anansi, I want to help you, you know. I want to help you get out, but afraid you will eat me when you get free. Anansi was in his element. Osibo insisted that he would not harm Anansi. So the spider agreed to help him, but remember, it was a trick. Anansi went a little way off and he cut two long sticks with his knife for the leopard to climb out of the hole with. But as Osibo got within arm's reach, climbing out of the hole, Anansi took a rock and hit the leopard on his head, knocking him unconscious. Anansi quickly got to work tying up the leopard which he then took to the sky god. Nyame was completely impressed with Anansi. He quickly assembled a meeting with all his elders and he told them about the task Anansi had accomplished, task that no one else was able to accomplish, not even the greatest other kingdoms on earth. And that is how, from that day to this day, we have Anansi stories, because Anansi was able to complete the 3 tasks set out for him by the sky god. Now, for the IT application, there are 3 tasks and there are 3 tips, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of how you can be safe online. Many of the scammers out there, many of the bad guys, they play just as Anansi plays. They trick you, they try all kind of thing to tie you up. So number 1, remember Anansi and the snake? Always take some time to think before you connect with other people online. Not everyone who praises you or make you feel good or say nice things to you online actually care about you. There are a lot of bad people on the internet. There is such a thing as online grooming, child sexual abuse, even identity theft. And in some cases, the bad guys out there, they do allow, they trick the children into doing things that will allow them to maybe even defraud their parents and to get money from them. So boys and girls, be very, very careful who you friend, who you allow in your circle, because a lot of them, they are tricksters just wanting to trap you, just as Anansi was able to trap the snake. Number 2, remember the hornets? Remember how Anansi tricked them into going into the boli? Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, do not believe everything you see, read, or hear online. Now, the hornets, they saw the water and they heard Anansi's explanation. And without investigating further, they responded exactly how Anansi wanted them to, trapping them in the process. So always investigate, always check, look a little deeper. And if you're not sure, ask somebody. Somebody might be able to tell you, this is a scam, this is a trick, leave it alone. Number 3, you remember how Anansi was able to trap the leopard? Be careful what you click on. Some of the buttons you see online, they say, click to claim your prize, click to win. It looked innocent. It looked inviting. You know, when Leopard came home, he didn't realize there was a hole right in front of the door, you know. He thought everything was normal. Everything was just as it was before. So you can't just go clicking all over the place. In some cases, it can be a trick, so they can take over your device. In some cases, they can take over your account. And in other cases, they might even take all your files and lock them up. And then they tell you you have to pay to get it back. So boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I want you, the next time you go online, remember Anansi. Remember the bad guys out there, they behave just like Anansi. And be careful who you connect with. Always check the story, verify it. And number 3, don't just go clicking. And that is how the story ends this evening. I want everybody to be safe online. Remember Anansi.